I will call the meeting to order, and we can start with the Pledge of Allegiance. If you could all please stand. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Into our roll call, Mr. Lincoln. Here. Mr. Keg. Here. Mr. Shaver. Here. Mr. Becker is not here, but instead we have Ms. London. Mr. Wirt. Here. Ms. Bressler. Here. Ms. Drobnik. Here. Mayor Keg. Here. Mr. Murray. Here. For our council held an executive session on Tuesday, April 18th, 2023 at 6:30 p.m. to discuss personnel matters relating to employee performance. We have no agenda amendments coming out of executive session. So we will get right into the reason the vast majority of you are here is for accommodations. I'm not going to do anything super long-winded or anything like that. I save that for my phone calls with Dean. No, but seriously, we cannot begin to scratch the surface on thanking each and every one of you for what you did for our community back on Friday, March 24th. It's hard to believe that it's already been over 3 weeks. We'll be closing in on a month. And we can never begin to express our appreciation for everything that you had done for our community, both on that Friday and everything since then. So in saying that, we have a very large pile of commendations for all of you, which we are thrilled to give out, so I'm going to do it with Mayor Keg. Usually commendations are given by one or the other, and in this case, we're both doing it. We felt that was important for our entire community, for members of council, for fire department, fire police department. Everybody's had a hand in all of this, and we're just eternally grateful. So thank you. We'll stand out front here, and we do have quite a few.
I'm not sure if it's all not here.
That's okay.
So thank you so much.
Most of these will all read the same, so I will just read off one, and you'll get the gist for the remaining like 60. So it states, whereas on Friday, March 24th, 2023, an emergency occurred at RM Palmer, located at 55 South 2nd Avenue, West Reading, Berks County, Pennsylvania. And whereas this emergency required the efforts of law enforcement, fire departments, fire police, medical services, 911 operators and dispatchers, public works departments, search and rescue teams, hospital staff, municipal employees, county and state agencies, and other local agencies, organizations, and resources to provide aid and assistance. And whereas, during which, the efforts of these departments, agencies, organizations, and individuals required extraordinary service, courage, dedication, and leadership in the midst of an ongoing crisis. And whereas these departments, agencies, organizations, and individuals are owed a debt of gratitude for their service, which can never fully be repaid. And whereas the Borough of West Reading is committed to recognizing and honoring those who risk their own personal safety to aid those endangered, in need of rescue, or in need of recovery. Now therefore I should say we, but Samantha Keg, Mayor, Ryan Lineweaver, Council President, council members of the Borough of West Reading, on behalf of the residents, Dean Murray, Borough Manager, on behalf of Borough Administration and employees, Wayne Holden, Chief of Police, on behalf of the West Reading Police Department, Chad Moyer, Fire Chief, on behalf of the West Reading Fire Department, and Carrie Grassley, Public Works Director, on behalf of our Public Works employees, do hereby recognize, give special tribute to, and commend most highly for their extraordinary service, courage, dedication, and leadership to the Borough of West Reading. We thank them for their selfless and continual service to our community. So we can read them off. I can hand them off to the mayor as we're doing it, and if you're here.
Do you want to do it that way?
That's fine.
Okay, that's fine.
Because we're going to name them off, all of them. So the first is the Volunteer Medical Service Corps of Lansdale. Pottstown Fire Department. If you're here. I believe so. Berks County District Attorney's Detectives. Borough Police Department.
Imagine how crowded the room would be if everybody was here.
Berks County Sheriff's Office.
There we go.
Lifeline Emergency Medical Services. Tower Direct Emergency Medical Services. Northern Berks Emergency Medical Services. Western Berks Ambulance Association. Reading Fire Department EMS. We'll find it eventually, but there is one for Reading Fire Department in there as well.
Yeah, good. Thank you. Thank you.
Muhlenberg Area Ambulance Association. Lower Alsace Ambulance Association. The Wyomissing Fire Department. Township of Spring Fire Rescue Services. Coomer Township Fire Department.
Okay. Yes, they both let me know. Thank you so much.
Eastern Berks Fire Department. Boyertown Area Fire and Rescue. Brecknock Township Fire Company. Kenhurst Fire Company. Shillington Fire Company. Muhlenberg Township Fire and Rescue. Moton Fire Company. Greenfields Fire Company. Fleetwood Fire Company. Virginville Fire Company. Walnut Town Fire Company. Burnville Community Fire Company. Exeter Township Fire Department. Western Berks Fire Department. Boyertown Salvation Army Canteen. Monarch Fire Company. Reading Fire Department. Montgomery County Urban Search and Rescue Team. Gilbertsville Fire and Rescue Company. Saratoga Fire Company. Denver Fire Company. Adamstown Fire Company. Twin Valley Fire Department. Norco Fire Company.
Thank you very much.
Reading Area Water Authority. They picked up the phone at 1:30 in the morning when we needed additional lights.
At his house.
AT can tell you the story sometime, but they were willing to pick up the phone when we needed them, and we're grateful.
Anytime.
Thank you.
Anytime.
Township of Spring Fire Marshal, Troy Hatt. Berks County Mental Health and Developmental Disabilities. Westside Regional Emergency Management Agency. The Rapid Relief Team. The Eastern PA EMS Council, Department of Health. Empire Services. The Berks Fraternal Order of Police SISM Team. The Eastern PA EMS Council SISM Team. Pennsylvania Task Force 1. Reading Fire Department Canteen. Berks County Department of Emergency Services. The Pennsylvania State Police. Penn State Berks Police Department. Bern Township Police Department. Why Missing Police Department. The Township of Spring Police Department. Reading Police Department. Hamburg Police Department. Exeter Township Police Department. And finally, Coomer Township Police Department.
Carried bigger ones in the truck.
We do have two community partners who have also helped out tremendously, especially with those who were displaced from their homes, and for those who lost loved ones that evening. And that would be Centro Hispano and the American Red Cross. We also have two more. Let me put that on the bottom. We have two more for community partners. These read a little bit differently because they are for the United Way of Berks County and the Berks County Community Foundation. That fund that they set up within less than 24 hours has raised close to $700,000. And they were able to disperse nearly $500,000 to those affected. All of that money they've been able to disperse to families who have lost loved ones. They've been able to disperse to those who have lost their homes. And there's still money pouring in, which is, you can't even put it into words how appreciative we are for that. So I won't read the full thing, but whereas the Berks County Community Foundation and United Way of Berks County co-sponsored a fund to support those affected by this tragedy, whereas the West Reading Disaster Recovery Fund was created in less than 24 hours following the tragedy and dispersed over $200,000 to those most affected in under 1 week after the fund's creation. And whereas during which the efforts of these agencies required extraordinary service, dedication, and leadership in the midst of an ongoing crisis, and whereas the fund raised nearly $700,000 from over 1,500 donors in support of families who have lost loved ones, families who were displaced from their homes, co-workers who had lost jobs, and memorializing those who have lost. And whereas the Borough of West Reading is committed to recognizing and honoring those who show incredible compassion, leadership, and service during times of need for those who live and work in our municipality. So these are for United Way of Berks County and the Berks County Community Foundation. Now it's time for West Reading.
West Reading Police Department, I see you back there. Can you please join us? You two, wait.
This one differs a little bit for all of West Reading. Mostly the main changes are just that this emergency required the efforts of West Reading's Police Department, Fire, Police, and Public Works to provide aid and assistance, during which the efforts of the Police Department and other individuals required extraordinary service, courage, dedication, and leadership amidst of an ongoing crisis. Whereas the Police Department and its individuals spent countless hours ensuring the safety of our borough, while risking their own well-being in doing so. And whereas the police department and its individuals are owed a debt of gratitude for their service which can never fully be repaid, pretty much says it all. Thank you so much to our police department for everything that you did. We'll squeeze Lance right in the middle here. West Reading Fire Police. Thank you and all the rest of the fire police for everything that you did, especially that Friday evening. We owe you a debt of gratitude like everyone else. Appreciate it.
We appreciate you. Thank you.
And the West Reading Fire Department, if there's anyone here from the department, if you'd like to step forward. This one reads the same as the police, except swap out police with fire department. But what you guys did, I'll never forget the look on Chad's face after 20 hours of being at the scene, and what his eyes looked like. And like I said, I'll never complain of being tired again after seeing what you guys did. We literally had to tear you guys away from the scene and make you go home, make you go sleep, so that you could get a couple of hours and come back because of the dedication that you have for our community, and we're forever in your debt. Thank you. And we have the West Reading Public Works Department.
They're hiding back there.
They are hiding back there, but you guys can come up. This entire department was called in at the drop of a hat. And they all came in. They all worked together. KT2.
They did the work, I just sat there and watched.
These guys were down there at the scene almost immediately, working through the night. You were down at the Public Works garage. You guys literally gave sweatshirts and jackets off your back to those who had nothing coming out of that building. And again, that shows the quality of all of you guys. It really does. You guys were the first to start cleaning up. They tasked our Public Works Department with clearing the road so that they could get in more heavy machinery the following morning. And thank you guys from the bottom of our hearts for everything that you did. Appreciate it. And last but not least, the West Reading Borough Manager, Dean Murray. I told you that your thank yous were coming, and I was not kidding. But this emergency required the efforts of virtually all West Reading's departments, including police, fire, police, and public works, to provide aid and assistance, during which, in his capacity as Borough Manager, Dean exhibited extraordinary service, selflessness, dedication, compassion, and leadership in the midst of an ongoing crisis, whereas Dean has spent countless hours ensuring the safety, well-being, and recovery of our borough, its residents, its employees, and its departments. And Dean is owed a debt of gratitude. Dean is owed a debt of gratitude for his service, which can never fully be repaid, as a dedicated servant to the borough of West Reading.
So, in saying that, Ryan. Yes, get up here. So it's pretty much the same thing, like almost verbatim, just Ryan with your name on it. So Ryan owes a debt of gratitude for his service, which can never fully be repaid as a dedicated servant to the borough of West Reading. And I mean that in every single way possible. Working beside you this entire time, hand in hand, has been beautiful. Working with Dean has been phenomenal. So I wanted to make sure that you got recognized also for your work and effort within the community.
Thank you. I'll get you back. We didn't exchange gifts for Christmas. All right. Thank you all for being here. You can feel free to stay. I'm sure that we have some residents who would like to possibly speak to you during public comment, after which you don't need to stay during our business meeting if you don't want to. Thank you.
I gotta run.
I'll wait for Ryan to be here.
When you're ready.
Awesome. Good evening, everyone. I'm Johanny Cepeda Freitas, obviously your state representative. And, thank you for thanking all of our neighbors and friends who came on that evening when that tragic accident and explosion took place. It was heartwarming to see how everyone came together, risking their lives, not thinking twice about jumping in and trying to save as many people as possible. So thank you for thanking everyone. I'm here today to thank you and present you with a citation on behalf of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania and the House of Representatives. I just wanted to give you some recognition and kind of like offer, a token of our appreciation as well. I know, it's a citation, it looks nice, but it doesn't measure to what you all did, what each and every one of you did. Nights without sleeping, Chief, and Chad, each and every one of you just put those people and those families and what happened before your own needs. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart. As public servants, it's like you never know how to prepare. You never anticipate a tragedy like this to ever happen. You really don't know how you're gonna handle it. And the way you became heroes. You really just were selfless and just, I'm at a loss for words because it's like, the compassion and just like that genuine care and how you just, with all your heart and might, you went in there and you didn't rest until every person was found and every person that lost their homes was accommodated. And you're still, you haven't even dealt with your own feelings and processing your own emotions of experiencing that evening. So I thank you. The first one I have is for the West Reading Fire Department. Chad. I know you have to keep conducting your business. Whereas the explosion at the Arm Palmer facility on March 24th, 2023 presented unexpected challenges to the West Reading community. And whereas the West Reading Fire Department is a volunteer fire department made up of a community members, and whereas those volunteers immediately rushed to the fire to provide aid to their neighbors, and whereas the tireless efforts and dedication of the West Reading Fire Department saved lives on site. Now therefore, the House of Representatives of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania commends the West Reading Fire Department for its exemplary public service and directs a copy of the citations sponsored by the Honorable Johanny Cepeda Freitas be transmitted to the West Reading Fire Department, 223 Playground Drive, West Reading, PA 19601. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Just be aware I'm doing that for everyone.
I'm gonna save this one for last. Sorry, and I'll try to be fast. Okay, this one is for the West Reading Borough Council. And I'm going to try to not read the whole thing, because I don't want to, prolong this. But nonetheless, I want you to know how grateful we are. Whereas the members of the council provided regular communication and coordination, and whereas the tireless efforts and dedication of the West Reading Borough Council helped save lives and provided critical support to the community. And there's more, but I wanted to read kind of like, so this is to the Borough Council. Thank you.
He needs his picture now, right?
Get up there.
Come on.
I'm
You want to
on.
come here? All right, this one is for the Borough Manager, Dean Murray.
Oh, please.
Yes. And I'm going to like the meat of it, okay? So whereas the Borough Manager, Dean Murray, as an employee of West Reading Borough, was able to efficiently manage the emergency response with all relevant agencies, and whereas the swift and immediate coordination of Borough Manager Dean Murray saved lives on site. Thank you so much.
Need the mom picture. Need the mom picture.
Thank you. I'm so proud of you, Dean. Well done.
And I have one for Chad Moyer here. Fire Chief Chad Moyer is a volunteer of the West Reading Fire Department. And whereas the volunteer fire department immediately rushed to the fire to provide aid to their neighbors, and whereas the tireless efforts and dedication of the fire chief, Chad Moyer, kept the department coordinated and efficient in rescue and recovery efforts. Thank you so much.
That one might have been better.
And I have one for Chief Wayne Hoban. Come on up, Chief. Whereas Police Chief Wayne Hoban coordinated the West Reading Police Department, which immediately rushed to the scene to provide aid to their first emergency responders and neighbors. And whereas the tireless efforts and dedication of Police Chief Wayne Hoban saved lives on site. There's a little bit more, but thank you so much, Chief.
Thank you.
And this one is for Public Works Director Carrie Berks. So whereas the Public Works Director, Carrie Grassley, as an employee of West Reading Borough, was able to swiftly mobilize the Public Works Department to support first responders, and whereas the tireless efforts, coordination, and dedication of the Public Works Director saved lives on site. Thank you so much, sir. All right, so this is from Mayor Keg. Yes, come on here.
Is it recorded?
Mayor, I have to tell you, just as a, a woman's woman, I am like in awe and so inspired by just your selfless act when you expressed how, you being a firefighter volunteer and you put on your gear and you forgot about your mayoral role. You were just like, I need to go in there and save as many as my community members as possible. So I thank you so much for just kind of like, for being selfless, for being so kind-hearted, and for having that compassion, that heart, and that courage. Because it takes a lot of might to do what you did. And for holding it together, maintaining your composure in the midst of so much tragedy and devastation. You have an amazing team. I never saw like...
I do. I have a really awesome freaking team.
You do.
I'm so proud of everyone.
Yes, absolutely. I got to witness just like what community is truly about. And
Yeah.
camaraderie and family, right? Because you all were just like, my family comes first, my community comes first, my neighbors come first, so thank you so much. And it reads as follows. Whereas Samantha Keg serves as both Mayor of West Reading Borough and a volunteer firefighter, And whereas through tireless and numerous hours in the aftermath of the explosion and constant communication, she helped to coordinate the borough's emergency rescue efforts and response. Now therefore, the House of Representatives of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania commencement of the CAG, Mayor of West Reading Borough for exemplary public service. Has a few more information, but thank you.
Thank you.
And
I probably blinked this time.
you know, again, thank you to each and every one of you. The fact that you didn't get
Thank
any
you.
rest until you found every single missing person.
And honestly, Joni, thank you so much, because I mean, I can say for myself, I know Ryan even said, like, just even you just checking in to say, hey, how are you guys doing? Do you need anything? It just, even throughout the weeks, it's been, you haven't stopped. I just talked to you this morning. Like, it's so appreciated, especially from a state representative point of view. It's really nice to know that we are genuinely cared for. So thank you so much for everything you've done.
And thank you. Remember, we're each other's neighbors, right? We're community.
All right. So at almost 10 of 8, we'll finally get started with our business. So at this time, I will open the floor to public comment. Jim?
All my thank yous have left. Those people are not here.
I asked him to stay.
I know, but I appreciate, and I know you people do, the effort that they gave us. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jim. I will personally let every single one of them know that you said thank you.
Anyone else for public comment?
You know I can't ever walk away. Karen living good. This happening with R.M. Palmer is a personal experience for me, being a 25-year office worker at Palmer's. And to know everybody I knew someone that had been lost. It had been a very emotional weekend, wondering what was going to happen, but I cannot express enough gratitude to the Borough residents, because I went down to 2nd and Spruce, and we all, Linden Lane people and Spruce and Franklin, we all rounded up and said, what do you need? We went around door to door and got water, cases of water that people said, hey, I got a case of water in my basement. We sent a man, sorry to say that, we sent a stronger person to go get the cases of water. We felt that we were doing something. They allowed us to move barricades. They allowed us to redirect traffic. So Carrie, look out, because I now know how to redirect traffic.
Angie's looking for you.
But I can't tell you how proud I am to be a West Reading resident. And it's an amazing experience. Jim and I have been here 52 years serving in all kinds of capacities. But this past March has been very moving to know how everybody pitched in. And it was a good feeling. So thank you to all of you who'd spent many more hours than I did. I helped the RRT people that provided food to hamburgers and hot dogs, and I said, what can I do to help? And I gathered some other residents, and we helped them clean up, helped them serve, whatever. So we all gathered together, and it was beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you for masterminding all of our activities, and I'm very proud to be a West Reading resident. Thank you.
Hear, hear.
Tina?
I want to give my gratitude to everybody too. Samantha, I've been watching from the sidelines, and I've reached out to a couple of you to let you know that we were thinking of you. And as far as being a leader in the businesses, we all thought about you. We all felt your pain, your hard work and all that. And we've come together, and we're going to do a fundraiser, and we're going to donate it back to the West Reading Disaster Recovery Fund. That's this Saturday. Obviously, as businesses, we just kept working, but we've been following you all, and we appreciate it. And as we know, we are one community, whether we're businesses or residents. We're all here to work together. And we have a goal of hopefully raising $20,000 more to give to the fund on Saturday. So we're doing a bingo, and Elvis Presley is taking the stage at 5 o'clock. So everybody's excited about that, and that'll be at the West Reading Ballroom. So hopefully if people can help promote it and come visit, it would be greatly appreciated. We have amazing prizes. I don't think there's one business that didn't donate. And it was very easy to get donations even from people outside.
Anyone else in person? I don't know if there's anybody online, Chad.
And I can speak for myself and I think Council President when I say we seriously thank the businesses and the residents. I mean it when I say we all came together as a wonderful community. I think it's echoed by Johanny and all of Council. We've all really seen everybody come together in a beautiful way. We hope that we can continue that moving forward. Businesses were phenomenal. We had them reaching out how to donate. Residents were phenomenal, reaching out how to donate, what they can give, even at the site for days after, offering water, food to go and run and grab stuff, coming to the fire department, coming to the police department. I think we had to donate some food to the homeless shelters because we literally had such an influx that we didn't want it to go to waste. So genuinely, thank you to the business owners, the residents, and just the community in general for coming together. I really hope that we can continue that positive kindness and in caring as we move forward.
Anyone else? All right. Seeing none, I'll close the floor to public comment and move into the approval of minutes. So before you, you have the March 21st regular meeting, the March 25th special meeting, and the March 28th second meeting. So if you have any questions or whatnot, please feel free. Otherwise, looking for consideration to approve the minutes.
So moved.
Motion made by Mr. Keg,
Second.
second by Mr. Shaver. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. On to our ordinances and resolutions. First up is ordinance 1163, which is the rental property amendment. We had it advertised last meeting, and looking for consideration to adopt the amendment in its entirety to the rental property ordinance.
So moved.
Motion made by Mr. Lincoln,
Second.
second by Ms. Drobnik. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. On to ordinance 1164, which is your special purpose parking zones amendment. It's adding a handicap parking space to the 100 block of South 2nd Avenue. Looking for consideration to adopt.
So moved.
Motion made by Mr. Keg,
Second.
second by Ms. Bressler. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Looking to consider authorizing the advertisement of an amendment to supplement section 65-7, which are the specific powers and duties of one borough manager, to include the authority to lend out the borough fire police and execute documentation. So occasionally they receive requests that come in on kind of a moment's notice, and council is not able to act on those requests. So it would be allowing Dean to act on those requests instead of us.
We trust him.
Yeah, we may take it back if it's not Dean. Motion made by Mr. Shaver,
Second.
second by Ms. Drobnik. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
We'll advertise that ordinance then.
Yep. Next up is also an advertisement, which is to modify the yield intersections to stop intersections at Reading and Tulpehocken Avenue. Obviously, we replaced the yield signs with stop signs, and we're just updating the ordinance to match. Does anybody have any questions? Otherwise, looking for consideration to authorize the advertisement.
So moved.
Motion made by Ms. Drobnik. Second. Second by Mr. Lincoln. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. On to Resolution 2023-5, which is the extension of the local disaster emergency that Mayor Keg signed on March 25th. So we're looking for consideration to extend it through our May council meeting.
So moved.
Motion made by Mr. Lincoln. Second by Mr. Wirt. He hasn't gotten in yet. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. On to Resolution 2023-6, which is the bulk refuse collection policy. So before you, you do have a new policy that I believe Traffic and Infrastructure discussed. Chris, if you want to touch on that a bit.
Sure. Over the past few months, we've been discussing modifications to our current policy for bulk trash collection to try to better manage our tipping fees at the landfill, the amount of bulk materials that are either being put out by residents or picked up by our hauler. Through those discussions, we looked at some of our neighboring municipalities and how they dealt with bulk items. And most of them, or many of them, have a tag system where residents can purchase a tag for a bulk item. It does provide more opportunity to put those items out rather than just once a month. It can be any trash collection and up to, I believe it's 2 items per week per resident. And those tags will be $15 per tag. The tags will be provided at Borough Hall and specific to the item that's being discarded.
So the tags will need an address, a description of the item, and a contact info.
Yes.
I just had a question about clarification. So this is, the once a month is still in place?
No, I believe
No.
this replaces
Does
the
this
once a
replace
month.
the once a month?
Yes.
Is the once a month part of our current contract?
I don't know. the answer.
Yeah. Or is that just sort of a nice to offer us because they're nice guys kind of thing? Because if it's in the contract, it's in the contract. You know, if we want to replace it with the next contract, that's fine. Just want to make sure that,
I thought we had reviewed that, but we can double check.
I did speak with the trash hauler, but I'm not sure if he knows what's in the contract, so I can review that.
okay.
Do we want
We
to
can table it till
table
next
it?
week.
Yeah,
We can table
I
it.
just want to make sure that there's not a part in there that
Yep.
we want them to still honor, of course, because it's in there versus charging residents an additional $15 when they can still per monthly be putting out one bulk item per month like they normally would. If that's not in the contract, well, then we can easily adopt this and move forward.
Yeah.
I have a question. Does it change the definition of what a bulk item is, or is that still the same?
It is defined in the new policy. I think it's generally in line. I think it's a 5-foot maximum length and 75 pound weight limit.
Yeah.
Which I believe is,
The same.
if not the same, similar to what we have now.
That's exactly the same.
I would also maybe perhaps consider, so are we asking people what they're using the tags for when they come in for one?
Yep, item description.
That way they can't just do a bait and switch.
Right, well, okay, so then that's my next question. What if someone does a bait and switch? Because they know that the items that are not accepted, they're given a list, and that's exactly what the item they want to get rid of, and they say, whoopsie, no, actually, it's a mattress.
The
The
trash
trash
hauler
hauler, yep.
is they won't take an air conditioner or, because they can't get rid of them.
Right,
Yeah.
I just want to make sure
So
that
there,
they know that.
there is cooperation with the hauler on what is permitted. And I think generally they dictate what they won't take.
Yeah.
So it's in their best interest.
It's
as
gonna
well.
say it on the tag,
Yeah,
what it's for.
I
It's
think
gonna say it on
it's-
the tag.
so if it doesn't match, they just won't take it.
I can say they've been getting better. I think in the last month, I took 10 phone calls from residents. Well, they didn't take this, they're not allowed to. They didn't take this, they're not allowed to.
Yeah.
Right.
So they have been getting better that way wise.
Yeah,
Good.
and with the tag, they will also, if something is put out without one, they won't take it under this policy.
And is it one tag per item or one tag per pickup? Well,
One
that could
tag
add up.
Per item.
Per item.
That could really add up, plus what we also pay for trash already.
Yeah.
But the
These are
hope
bulk
is,
items.
I mean, as this policy, or, you know, if we adopt this policy, the hope would be that we see some reduction in our, you know, tonnage overall for items outside of the bulk items, which in the long term, we would hope that we could reduce our overall trash fee because of that.
I think
We
Chad-
won't know that for sure until this is in place for a little while.
I think Chad spoke, it would actually help him, because at this point here, people get rid of one bulk item once a month.
Right.
So if they have 7, 8 things, they can actually get rid of them. The two a week, they can have 2 a week, so they can actually get rid of, so you don't have people bulking. Your trash is still gonna be normal. I mean, just one bulk item turns into 8, but you're just gonna pay for it.
And also a big part to this is we've heard multiple complaints that people are bringing in large items from outside the borough. So neighbors and friends and family who live in neighboring municipalities know that we do this once a month, and they'll bring in their bulk item from outside the borough. So we're trying to keep that to a minimum.
Right. I thought I had another question, I'm trying to think here. So if I want to get a tag, I go up to Borough Hall, do I get one at the window?
Yes.
Okay, and then we ask them, all right, what is this bulk item? So someone is going to have some weirdo thing, because this is a rather short list. Someone's going to have something that someone's not necessarily going to know right at the top of their head whether it constitutes a bulk item that's acceptable or not. So I would envision this list getting longer over time, or at least someone up at the hall knowing what to say yes to and what to say no to, excuse me. Just in case we make a mistake and the hauler shows up and see the tag on something that they know from their hauling practices, they're not allowed to take, but we had inadvertently issued a tag. So if someone comes home from work and their tag item that they paid $15 for is still sitting there.
Yeah.
And then, hey, you gave me a tag, why didn't it get picked up? Well, gee, wow, sorry, we messed up, we didn't know. So I can see some of that happening, which of course they just refund money.
Sure.
But we want to avoid even giving that mistake tag out to begin with.
Yeah, and we tried to, we don't want to put too much burden on our front office staff to
Right.
make those decisions. I think the examples of acceptable items, is shown there as examples, not exhaustively. More importantly, I think, and more exhaustive is the list of things that are not accepted.
Right.
So we can certainly look at whether additional items there need to be added. I
Yeah.
think the main list that's in here so far are the big ones that we think of, appliances, electronics,
Yeah.
tires, fluorescent light bulbs, things like that.
It looks like things that you might want to say items requiring special handling, because like
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
refrigerants require special handling,
Sure.
tires, any quick electronic device.
Yeah.
And the way I've seen it put for electronics, if you can plug it in, don't put it out for the trash.
I mean, I tell the story all the time of my next door neighbor remodeling his kitchen, throwing it all in big bags, and literally putting a bag at each house all the way down the alleyway to get rid of it. So at 1 a.m., I collected all those bags and put them back in front of his house. I still took most of it, they left a lot of it, but it also avoids things like that people are trying to get rid of an entire kitchen remodel.
Well, that's what
on
happens,
bulk
people that do
trash
bad
bag.
things ruin it for the people that don't take advantage of it,
We're also trying to create more of a convenience, that way people don't have to wait once a month. They can put it out that week if they need to, and then it's not sitting in yards, it's not getting thrown away, dumped somewhere.
Don't have to remember First Friday.
Yeah, it's their choice. And if it's not in the contract and, we move away from the once a month thing in the future, if it is or if it's not, and this is the thing we adopt, I always say this, the borough is not your junk hauler. We're not junk haulers here. This is household refuse that's getting picked up, everyday household refuse. If you have junk items that get picked up, there are 1,000 private companies that'll come to your house because they put their signs all over the place in the county. You can see them on roadsides here, what have you. That's your responsibility. It's not the government's responsibility to pick up your junk. That's not
They
what.
usually want a truckload though, Phil.
Sorry?
You can't just get a table and chairs picked up, usually they want a truckload.
Well,
I'm just saying.
I don't know, regardless, I mean, there's gotta be situations
There are
where.
singular cases.
Yeah, places
You
that
can
come-
donate to companies.
Or donate, or whatever, yeah, we've got an active donation, Facebook group here in West Reading, Wyoming, that people can give things away. I know some people don't know about it or what have you, but I do see people, on my side of town that on bulk day have tried to put out all sorts of very questionable items over the last 20 years that I've lived here, just because, or renters that are moving out and they have a house full of junk and they're moving back to wherever and they know like the 30th I'm moving out, everything goes out on the curb. I can't get in trouble with anything because I'm done with the lease. So if they want to yell at the landlord, that's their problem. I'm out. So it's either the landlord's problem at that point or it's the borough's problem or both of our problems. So I've seen that happen more than once where someone's moving or moving out because due to a rental situation, and it's like a college campus next to a dorm in June. It's just crap, you know?
We did, Cindy and Dean, they did research ahead of time to try to figure out what other municipalities have done. If you were to take trash to the Berks transfer station, it's a $60 minimum, no matter what you have in the back of your truck or anything, what you're dropping off. So this price is very low comparatively.
Yeah.
In other municipalities, they do something similar, and their prices per ticket are way higher. So this is a very good place to start. It's a very good convenience for our residents. A lot of residents I've talked to about it are for it because it's very convenient. They can get rid of things immediately instead of having to wait a month.
So are you saying, Patrick, people will pay for convenience?
Oh, yeah. I'm one of them.
Take your word for it.
So we're going to table that until the next meeting then?
Yeah, we can table it until we have more information on the contract. All right, so we'll close the floor to the ordinances and resolutions, move into the consultants' reports. So, Mr. Unger, I'm sure you're chomping at the bit to get out of here, so we'll start with you.
Anyway.
So everyone has a copy of the engineer's report. First item of business under the engineer's action items. We did receive bids for street work on Friday the 14th. I did provide a bid tabulation to everyone, so you can find that at your location. We received 5 bids. We're extremely pleased with the bid results and the numbers. They are below, significantly below what we had estimated. So I would ask one for a motion to accept the 5 bids for the 2023 road project as received on April 14th and as presented in the bid tabulation.
Anybody have any questions on the bids as they're presented in front of you? So we have
Tom, did these bids include the 7th Avenue work or no?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it does.
So it's all the streets listed in your report?
Yes, it does. I just didn't have the 7th Avenue total lines. I had it by block. So
Okay.
that's why it's not on your bid tab from Friday. But it is on the statement. But it does include 7th Street, Sycamore, 7th Sycamore, and Bruce Alley.
And Sunset.
And that
And
intersection.
there's Parkview and Sunset.
Yeah.
Just so you didn't know that Jeanette did some paperwork for me. We estimated, we put 300,000 in for the road work. Well, that puts us 61,000, 48,000 under that. And we put 150,000 in for alley work, and that leaves us a total of 74,000 yet out of that. That would be saved from what we budgeted for it.
Great. Thank you.
And we get everything done.
I got a quick question, Tom.
Yes.
Do you think these bids are as competitive as they were? Do you have a reason why?
We're estimating some numbers from last year at the end of the year, and believe it or not, paving raw costs, material costs are below what they were last fall. So, and we do have some people bidding, and people are really sharpening their pencils.
I was gonna say, I mean, that's a significant savings. I'm just curious, because all we hear is inflation, 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 and everything costs more nowadays. Nothing's cheap, other than talk anymore. And so, you know, seeing these numbers is very encouraging.
And they're so tight too. I mean, if you look and see the difference there, we have 4 bids within 10%. The top 2 bidders only $4,000
Yeah, it's super
apart.
tight. They're really
So
tight.
They are really in tune with what each other one is bidding.
I mean, that's some tight bidding. I mean, it's like $4,000 like, between the 5 of them.
You're probably talking close to a mile's worth of roadway. I mean, 3/4 of a mile worth of roadway.
Yeah.
I am in talks, so you know, with H&K about possibly paving Borough Hall.
It's bad.
Yeah.
It's bad.
Yeah.
The only thing I would say is, how far does the property line extend? Because the
Leave it
back
about
road of
5
the
feet
cars.
off. I'm gonna reach out, H&K's gonna give me a price back from what I measured. What I basically did for us was, where the parking ends on the far side of the lot, I went about 5, 6 feet beyond that point. I split basically the driveway down below in half. And if you see, there's a repair piece down there. That's actually where we removed the diesel tank. We used to have a diesel tank up there.
Are you gonna coordinate with the hospital to see if they'd be interested in doing the rest?
Yep. I'm waiting back to see them to give me a price. I can call the hospital and say, listen, this is what this includes for us. What about you?
Because ideally, it should all be done at once if we can make it.
Oh, yeah, we can make it happen, absolutely.
Yeah, that'd be goofy to have a line right there.
Yeah.
You don't want an extra seam if you don't need it.
Yep.
Seam, sorry, there's a better word for line.
All right, make a motion to accept the bids.
All right, motion made by Mr. Lincoln,
Second.
second by Mr. Keg, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Next action item is consideration of awarding a contract for the 2023 road projects. Right now, the lowest bidder would be H&K Group, at the cost of $314,644.
So moved.
Motion made by Mr. Lincoln,
Second?
second by Ms. Dropnik, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. And Cindy, this is that time of year where I have to abstain from this vote, so make it 6-0. Because H&K Group is the primary sponsor of the soccer team that I work for, so I don't want any co-mingling thrown in there, so. All right, any other questions on the engineer's report?
One item I can just bring to your attention, in the report, you'll see the pump flow diagrams for the pump stations. Then you'll see for the maintenance garage pump station, on the day of the accident at Palmer, you had a huge spike of wastewater going through your pump station. So if you're paying for that, if there's insurance claims that can help you, you might want to consider that.
Thank you.
Thank you
We
for that.
we can quantify that number if we need to.
When that water line broke, the fire service broke in the basement. That was still in the basement, you had 4 drains down there, and also it was going into the other. It was going across through the piping into the other building also, which was taking it. And my pumps ran the whole entire time until we got that water line shut down.
There are no other questions. Looking for consideration to accept the engineer's report.
So moved.
Motion made by Ms. Bressler.
Second.
Second by Mr. Keg, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Tom.
Thanks.
Thank you, sir.
All right, we'll move on to the council president's report. The only things that I have are, just wanted to make mention once again that the American Diner had a fundraiser the Sunday following the event and raised $3,600. They split that 4 ways. 900 went to the police department, 900 went to the fire department, 900 went to the recovery fund, and 900 went to, I'm blanking on it, Cindy, you can remind me. 900 went to Western Berks EMS. There we go. It didn't come to us. But I just wanted to make mention of that. I did it at the press conference and the swing of things, but wanted to publicly thank them. So yeah, I guess you have to accept my report. So looking for a motion to accept the council president's report.
So moved.
Motion made by Mr. Keg.
Second?
Second by Mr. Shaver. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Dino, you're up.
Good evening, everyone. As you can tell, there's a few of the action items in my report, this will explain it. Kathy is retiring at the end of the month, so we do need to make a few moves to replace her in certain areas. So starting with number 1, action item is consideration to appoint Chad Moyer to the position of code enforcement, the code department manager, and zoning officer.
So moved.
Second.
Hang on. When is Kathy, when is her retirement date? Yeah.
Oh.
We can't just appoint him now and come around.
I thought you said it's the end of the month. That's
April
why.
28th. April 28th.
Yeah.
As of April 28th, or April
Do you have some
28th.
friends on council, Judge? Seems like you.
You said
the end of the month.
I appreciate the date.
All right. So her final day is the 28th, so starting April 29th, then, correct?
Yeah, sounds
All right.
good.
Yeah. Do we want to make a motion with the?
The additions?
Yeah. that change in mind.
I asked whoever made the motions if they're willing to
Yeah, you want
amend their motion.
One of the 20s over there.
Yeah, we're still good.
Motion made by Mr. Favors, second by Mr. Keg. Is that the way it was? All right. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Number 2 is consideration to appoint Andrew Weber to the position of Assistant Code Enforcement Officer.
We also want to do that one beginning April 29th.
I don't know that we ever put him into an official position yet, so
He's assistant code
officer.
Or I think he's just a regular code enforcement officer.
Assistant to the mayor.
I have a question. I have a question.
Yeah.
We have this, Andrew was hired, but he hasn't been appointed yet. And he needs to be appointed, unless I'm wrong, to be able to actually enforce.
Right, so he would be appointed by motion as of a certain
Right.
date.
So we hired him, but we didn't appoint him. Is that the distinction that we need to make? Yeah, it's got to be two motions. You hired the person, but the specific task of what we're doing, because they're enforcing ordinances, they need to be appointed in order to have that power.
Right, I would have counsel
Okay.
do a first hiring and then do a motion to appoint.
Right, so he's been hired,
Well,
right?
we did the hiring.
We did the hiring, we shouldn't be appointing
Okay,
him.
so-
That's what we got.
So,
I
action
just want to
item
make
as
sure
presented.
Action item as presented.
Yeah. So moved.
Motion made by Mr. Word, second by Mr. Lincoln, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries.
Number 3 is consideration to accept the letter of resignation from Jason Whitman as Police Administration Aide and Parking Enforcement Officer.
Any questions on that?
His last day is already passed too, so this is.
Well, he's on vacation time, so.
Oh, that's right. Apologies.
So, looking for a motion?
So moved.
Motion made by Ms. Dropnik. Second. Second by Mr. Lincoln, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries.
Number 4 is consideration to accept the letter of resignation from Carl Garman as member of the Pension Fund Committee.
Yeah.
Do you have any questions?
So moved.
Motion made by Mr. Shaver.
Second, and I have a question. Let's just make sure we get that up on the website as a vacancy.
Second by Mr. Word. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries.
And then last but not least is consideration to appoint Chet Moyer as alternate open records officer as of 4/29.
There you go. So just be replacing Kathy as the alternate open records officer when she retires.
Right now, I'm the open records officer, and then the 2 alternates are Cindy and then Kathy, and then it would be Chet.
All right, looking for a motion with the addition of the date. Motion made by Ms. Bressler, second by Mr. Lincoln. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. All right, any other questions for Dean? You got anything else for us?
Nope.
All right, so looking for a motion to accept the borough manager's report.
So moved.
Motion made by Ms. Dropnik,
Second.
second by Mr. Shaver. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. On to the mayor's report.
So you have my mayor's report in front of me. I didn't really do much of a report. I just kind of wrote some words. March 24th, the tragedy at RM Palmer occurred, which brought numerous agencies and departments together to help the borough of West Reading. Our community lost lives, and the destruction that was left will have an impact for years to come. I am forever in debt to the departments, organizations, agencies that came to assist and worked countless hours during this tragic time. I personally saw everyone come together in such a way that it was almost orchestrated. No one was stepping on anyone else, and everyone was working together with one mission and one goal in mind, truly together as one team. The outpour of assistance and guidance for those behind the scenes, even from elected officials such as Governor Shapiro, Bob Casey, Chrissy Houlihan, Judy Swink, and most certainly Jahani Sapita Freitas. Sorry if I butchered your name. And most importantly, our Council President Brian Weaver and Borough Council themselves, along with Dean and KT, who were here as much as they possibly could to work hand in hand with the President and myself. This also includes the wonderful Borough Manager Dean Murray, who worked tirelessly alongside us the entire time and fielded all of our phone calls and texts. I am honored to be part of such a beautiful borough where every single one of us pitched in and came together. Public Works literally gave shirts off their backs. The West Reading Fire Department worked tirelessly, as did the entire police department, with everyone stepping up to fill in wherever they could. For those affected directly and indirectly, for those that needed the solid rock in shaky times, for those that looked for someone to bring comfort, thank you to all the first responders, community members, residents, and those involved in providing safety, guidance, and care and compassion to those around you. If you have any questions, please let me know. Otherwise, that's my report.
Any questions for the mayor? I'm sorry that I didn't do a commendation for yourself. I thought we were exchanging gifts.
Sorry I didn't read it. I had a little panic attack. I was like, I gotta go for a second.
But no, thank you for your leadership during all of this. So while I will have a piece of paper for it, you've been a bedrock for our community throughout all of this, and I think that can't be understated. Under any other circumstances, under previous mayors, this would have looked completely different. And I'm very thankful that it was you guiding us through it. So thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else on the mayor's report? Otherwise, looking for approval of the mayor's report.
So moved.
Motion made by Mr. Keg,
Second.
second by Ms. Trutnick. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. On to department reports, starting with the police department.
Yeah, the only thing I have is echoing what the mayor said, the amount of resources we received the day of Palmer's and the help, it was phenomenal. So I can't thank everybody enough that helped us that day. So other than that, you have my report in front of you. If you have any questions, please let me know.
Any questions on the police report? Otherwise, looking for approval.
So moved.
Motion made by Mr. Shaver.
Second.
Second by Mr. Lincoln. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We'll move on to Public Works, KT.
Okay, my report in front of you. If you have any questions, we're happy to answer. And we did get the pool painted. First time, I think, in 10, 12 years. Last time it cost $90,000 to be outsourced. So.
Still
Hope it was a
close.
good year. Yeah. Hope it was a good year.
That's great. Anything else on the Public Works report? Just want to make sure that we continue to spread the word about the sewer line jetting. I've seen a handful of jetting places help just driving through the borough, so I want to make sure that we continue to save our residents money. So they cost me $300 to have that done at 10 o'clock at night. And with the sewer jetter, hopefully that will take care of a lot of things, but
Since then, in the last month, we had two more of $20,000 bills coming that we were able to debunk for the people. They call and I let them know it's us first from this point forward. And I think when the word gets out, I think everyone should be happy about what's being done for them.
yeah,
That's thank yous to you for allowing it.
of course. Anything else on the Public Works report?
Thank you again. You're saving us money in so many different ways since you've been in charge.
Yes.
Thank you.
I mean, Dean did a great job. You're doing a way better job. You have saved us unbelievable amounts of money. Just between doing the work in-house and just coordinating, I mean, I can tell that the morale is really good. So, I think
Things have really turned around since Dean left.
Giving the borough rallies down.
No, just the fact that all of your guys came in during the tragedy. I mean, that was incredible to me.
I had to drag some of them home physically after.
Yeah, they
One was
worked
there for
hard.
over a day and a half straight and refused to go home. I had to come in at midnight on Saturday and say, you have to go home.
Yeah. Well, you guys did an amazing job.
Yeah, thank you.
Looking for a motion to approve the Public Works report.
So moved.
Motion made by Mr. Lincoln,
Second.
second by Mr. Robnick. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. On to the Fire Department. Chief Blair.
All right, you all have a copy of my report. I don't really have any action items or much to add. I just want to, once again, kind of echo the sentiments of this evening. I want to thank council and borough manager for all of your support during all the operations. And I want to thank the other department heads for all of your help in mitigating the situation. I lived in West Reading all my life, and as a resident, I couldn't be prouder of the way everybody worked together to kind of echo what Mrs. Livick said. So.
Thank you. Thank
How was your trip to South Dakota? Not South Carolina, Zach.
Once we finally got off the ground, everything went fantastic. There was a punch list of items that was generated. I get pictures daily of the updates. We're working on finishing those punch list items. Looks like everything's going to be on track time-wise for it to make it to the Harrisburg show, and then eventually end up in Peter after that.
When is the Harrisburg show?
May 19th and 20th.
Thank you.
And then after the show, just like a day or two, or does it have to do something else?
No, within, from what I'm being told by them, within a day or two, I'm sure, I'm going to request that they, clean up some, of course.
Yeah.
After the fingerprints are all put on. But, yeah, a couple days after that, we'll have it. And then, of course, it'll take probably about a month after we receive it to get everybody trained on it, get all the equipment mounted, and put it in service. But
So, like May?
Well, May 19th, 20th is Expo, so we're looking probably middle to end of June until we're able to actually put it into service.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
I'm just saying, if we're gonna have some sort of like I know for the bladder, we did like a little bit of a ceremony or whatever, or I don't know what you call it, like a
housing.
A housing,
yeah.
Okay, not a christening or.
You see about busting bottle of wine?
You normally want to get a bottle of wine on it.
No. Normally, you push it back in the station.
You push it?
Yeah,
Okay.
ceremonially do.
Are you guys going to be are you doing that by yourself, or?
Right now, nothing is planned for that. We can, if council's interested, we can
Yeah.
put something together.
Work together with me, let me know. I'll reach out to your events committee.
You only get a truck, what, every 10 years?
Yeah.
Okay, well.
Yeah, it'd be good
You
to.
know,
Yeah, I think it's wonderful. It's an active, yeah.
get a truck once every 10 years, you might as well make it a thing.
All right.
Yeah.
We'll put
I'll reach
something
out to
together.
you.
And we'll have it for National Night Out too.
Yes.
So,
Yep.
We'll be there.
Maybe that can
Not
go
quite
on
our forced slavery.
Yep.
That's not going
I was hoping, but yeah.
Yeah.
Any other questions on the fire department report?
Just a quick, to keep singing Chad's praises, which we've done a bunch today, deservingly so. I went to see the truck with them. That is a tedious and time-consuming task to build one of those. And when you started 2 years ago, and to be able to go and see the end result, it looks amazing. I'm really excited for all of you to get to see it as well. So thank you for putting that time and work into that, because it's a lot. And going there and seeing it, your work paid off. Thank you.
I'm going to expect you to detail every bit of it for me so that I can understand it, and then I want to see you push it in by yourself.
Just let me drive it backwards, you're not just pushing.
Get enough people, you can hop in a neutral. Hop in a neutral.
Push it uphill into the.
Yeah, uphill.
Yeah, pretty good.
He's not going to hurt himself again. He's already hurt.
No, it's only one time thing.
Anyway, looking for consideration to approve the fire department report.
So,
Motion made by Mr. Shaver.
Second.
Second by Mr. Pegg, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. All right, you can take off the fireman hat and move on to your code department hat.
All right, same thing with the codes report, you'll have a copy of it. I don't have any action items. Just would like to give the codes department's endorsement of, I know I was in traffic and infrastructure and said it there, but the codes department's endorsement of some sort of tag system for the bulk items. I think it would make our job as enforcement officers a lot easier if we can just go around after the trash guys that have gone through and find all the non-tagged items. It makes it a lot easier than trying to patrol everything before them and keep track of things that way. So I think once the minor details of that all get ironed out, I think that's a very good program. We're coming into the growing season, grasses, trees, so that's going to be our hot topic coming up here over the next month. Make sure everybody's grass is cut, trees are trimmed back, and everything's compliant there.
I love the new format of everything. It's a lot easier to read and understand. I miss the short stories.
Just the true crime novel.
Yeah.
But I think that the way that it's changed and come together is really, really nice.
I plan to, in the next month or so, kind of put a little bit of, kind of like I do with the fire chief's report, where I put a little, like, a couple paragraphs in the beginning, just kind of give you an idea of what's going on with
Yeah.
new projects or, commonly occurring violations. and
Yeah.
Make these all know those.
Wonderful, thank you so much.
Yep.
All right. We don't have any other questions. Looking for approval of the code department report.
So,
Motion made by, was it Phil? Or Mr. Lane?
Mr.
Chris. Mr. Phil.
Mr. Phil.
Second.
Second by Mr. Shaver, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. CRF report, Mark's under the weather, so you have it in front of you as presented. They were able to hire Amanda Corwin. She was able to start, be working part-time to assist with the 3 major events in the borough. Obviously, Craft Pretzel and Beer Fest is coming up on the 29th. They have 20 more vendors than last year, so they're up to 50. And the ticket sales for the beer tasting are growing well. If anyone's interested in Artley Avenue, the vendor form is online. And he's also looking to start up the business promotions committee. He has at least 5 people who are interested. With the grants, they're still waiting for that hometown grant from T-Mobile. Obviously, we got the DCED grant. He's looking at First Energy for additional funding. They did get an additional grant from the Janssen Why Missing Foundation for codes. And he's also working with the county to apply for CARES grant funding as well. Also in front of you, we do have some results of a survey that was put out about the bid. So you can take a look at that at your general convenience. Do we have any questions on the CRF report? Seeing none, looking for approval. Motion made by Mr. Wirt. Second by Ms. Bressler. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. On to the committee and commission reports. We'll start with the EDI task force. Jen.
The EDI task force met April 13th with Denise and I present. The result of our discussions last month, we drafted a non-discrimination resolution while the work on the ordinance continues. We looked at various non-discrimination resolutions from cities across the country and put some ideas together and presented it to Borough Council President and Solicitor for review. So upon review, we are hoping to present it to Council for approval.
Any questions on the EDI task force? Thank you both for working on that resolution. We'll have something able to be presented for next month prior to the pride flag raising at Borough Hall. So.
Which is wonderful, by the way. Thank you so much.
Smooth process.
It'll be an ongoing process, but
It's a very important process.
yeah, absolutely. If nobody else has any other questions, looking for approval of the EDI task force.
So moved.
Motion made by Mr. Keg.
Second.
Second by Mr. Wirt. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. On to the Rec Commission. We'll start with Mike.
Good evening, everybody. You have a copy of my report in front of you. I do have an action item as well as, I believe, it's an amendment to the returning a new employees list, which was given out prior to the meeting. Yes. So there's a list of our employees for this month returning and some new employees. Great news on the playground front. Our playground manager, Adrian, she's a teacher, so that's definitely a big bonus in terms of with the playground program. And on the back is from last month. I'm curious what WSI is. She instructs swimming lessons for her kids at the pool.
Any questions on the action item in front of you? The lifeguard salaries range from $10.75 for the returners to $10.25 for the new ones. Concessions ranges from $11.50 to $10.50, playground leaders at $12.50 to $10. Front desk will be $10 apiece. And then we're doing amended rates for Sarah Althouse, who was the head guard at $12, Cynthia Sandoval, who was a lifeguard at $11.75, and Haley Schmeck, who was the WSI at $12.25.
And lifeguards.
And lifeguard. So we're up to, what, 18, 19 lifeguards?
17, I interview another one Friday. So we're going to be fully equipped with the pool, which is definitely exciting.
And a teacher at the playground.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right, any questions on that action item?
Thank you, Mike, and thank you, Denise, for everything you've been doing with the rec commission and the rec department. The events have been really well received, and I'm glad that you brought back the fishing rodeo, Mike. I think that a lot of kids and parents really enjoyed that.
Yeah, I was really into that. I was up at 5:30. I was at the pool at around 6:15. So getting everything set up, checking where the fish have kind of meandered off to in the creek, and got lots of pictures. And this is these are the T-shirts that all the kids got.
That's awesome.
Wanted to bring that in. So all the kids got one of these, and all these and all the sponsors on the back that help
That is
pay for the fish. So.
And thank you so much for getting the sponsorships to be able to
Yeah.
host it and do it.
Absolutely. It's definitely something that was well received, and
Very.
big thank you to KT and his crew for getting the fencing down in the creek to contain the fish. I brought my waders and I got down in there with them as well, so it was a great event. Then we also had the egg hunt, which was April 1st, which was a nice kind of, just with everything that transpired the week before, I kind of said to Dean, how in the world are we going to have an egg hunt with everything that's going on? But I think it was just nice for the fire department. Chad, thank you for allowing us to have it here. Just to have the kids around and so forth. And a big thanks to the commission. Patrick, thank you for being the bunny. You were fantastic. You make the Philly fanatic jealous.
You guys did a great job honoring Palmer during that, because Palmer donated a lot of candy
Yes.
right before the disaster.
But unfortunately, the woman who was my contact was one that passed in the explosion. So, but yeah, thank you so much to them. But the pool playground's in motion. Disc golf tournament this Sunday. Weather's not looking too great, but we went out.
It was terrible last year.
I know.
Yeah, it was.
Black Friday wasn't that great either, so that seems to be the trend.
Yeah, they say don't care.
I will be there.
Yes, you can watch Chad and
Yep.
Chad put on a clinic to the rest of the other disc golfers. So, but other than that, we're having a cleanup at the pool on Monday, May 8th. So the pool and the playground has been the big focus right now, so.
And just a really quick thank you to, I mean, everything that you're doing is wonderful. I absolutely love everything. I think the sponsorships have been phenomenal. You've really stepped into control and taken hold of it. So congratulations and thank you so much for doing that. It's so welcomed and so just a breath of fresh air.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate that. It's a team. I stretch the team. I have a great team around me. I have great support. And it's not a one-man show. It takes a village.
And you work as a team, and it's
So.
wonderful to see that. And before, Patrick, you're not going to humbly slide by. Thank you for getting some of the trees out of the creek.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, thank you, JC, for cutting those trees up into little stools and stumps for the kids.
They weren't utilized on Saturday.
That was so
It was
good.
adorable, but
Yes.
for those that don't know, Patrick got a grant through the Western Environment Advisory Council in order to get some of the trees out of the creek and free it up so that it would not create dams and stop the flow. So that helped with the events, but also helped in general, and then Katie.
One of the trees that they had to cut up, I came over to just see how it was before the rodeo, and he had these little stumps
Mhm.
just
Down the
strategically
side.
placed along the
There's-
side. I'm like,
And there's still fish down there, so if
That was
anybody
so
wants to
good.
fish.
Yeah, I'll have you
There's
know,
a
my
mile to
mother
go.
caught 0. 300 fish, 0.
But it was great. I can't wait for next year, so.
It was a great event. Did a
It
good
was.
job.
It was a lot of fun.
And it looks like you have a second action item?
Was the amendment to the,
Yeah, we can,
that was it.
I'm gonna move it over to Denise to see if she had anything. I was trying to get that action item through, but we kept blowing past it, so.
Sorry.
We'll just go over to Denise to give her thoughts on the rec commission.
We still have to do, we should go over the first action.
Yeah,
item.
we'll do them after.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why I was saying we didn't finish first.
Okay.
We'll do that at the end.
The other action item, you want me to talk about?
Well, you can just talk to the rec commission.
Okay, rec commission in general. So, yes, we're really excited. We have an energized commission, and we're working on what I think is going to be kind of a delightful summer concert series, and a lot of moving parts, but in June will be Vines and Vibes, which is music and a plant festival. In July, over the 4th of July weekend, we will have Pride and Vibes, which is a celebration of Reading Pride is going to work with us, and 4th of July, and also a battle of bands. So that's going to be kind of an extravaganza. And in August, we are working on a salsa event. So need to talk to Mike about that. Yeah.
I'm not gonna
so-
salsa dance. I
You will learn to salsa, you will have an opportunity to dance and hear some fantastic music. So we're pretty excited. We also will have free yoga again in our park, starting May 6th and going until, I forget what date in August. So every Saturday morning, our community and our neighboring communities will be able to come and meditate and have yoga together, because we all need a little zen in our lives. And so we're very excited about all the things we're doing. We would like to humbly ask for our meeting time to be changed to 6 o'clock though, because some of us go to bed early. 7 o'clock is just not working for us, so when we get to that one, that's why.
And they're young. They're young.
We would have to re-advertise the dates to do that.
You have to change the time you're talking
Yeah, or the date.
Yeah.
Is that a big deal? Because we could probably wait till next year if we had to.
I mean, it's one ad.
But it will cost
Yeah, we just have to
money.
advertise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
it's not a
it's
lot of
pretty
ad, you're
nominal.
talking about $50.
I guess we'll let council decide.
I mean, it's more recognition that was a unanimous vote. Nothing, so I would prefer not to go against their wishes of moving their meeting time.
Probably if the cost is small, I think it's the least we can do for them. They, they really feel like they would like to get started earlier.
Yeah, I think it was only moved like 2-3 years ago.
It was moved in January.
Yeah.
It was advertised this January.
Yeah.
I thought somebody wanted it.
They requested it.
Mhm.
Yeah, they requested it.
I thought it, no,
It
it
was
was
7
7
before that.
years.
It was moved to 7 o'clock when I was on rec commission, because
think it was
they
the
wanted to
discussion.
accommodate the dinner time of certain.
When we moved all meetings to 6, I think the rec commission
Rec was against it.
requested
I
to
think
stay
that
at
was-
7.
That was
That
before my time.
Yeah, that's probably what it is. All committee meetings were moved to 6 because it seemed like every committee, most committees anyway, wanted that.
To be done sooner.
And I think they were the only ones that said, no, we'd rather go first. 7,
Yeah, I mean,
mean-
it was when I was on recreation that it was moved to 7.
yeah. I mean, I think for committees, 6 works.
Yeah, I think it
Really
works way
good.
better.
That 1
especially
hour.
because most people want to
that-
get out.
Yes. They want to get started, you know, there's a lot of
Yes.
downtime waiting for 7. So
Yes,
we're-
exactly.
All right, so before you have both action items, so we'll start with the first one, which is the list of new hire and rehire applicants. I'm not going to read them again. We're looking for consideration to approve the list.
So moved.
Motion made by Mr. Keck,
Second.
second by Ms. Pressler, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. And the second one is modifying the rec commission meeting time back to 6 o'clock effective May 2nd. Motion made by Mr. Shaver,
Second.
second by Ms. Pressler, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Do we need a motion to re-advertise it?
It's going to be re-advertised, needs to be authorized for re-advertisement.
Can we just modify the motion that we just made?
Yeah, modify the motion to authorize advertisement.
then will we have to have another motion after the advertising?
Yeah.
No, just
No.
on the amended motion.
Yeah, just,
Okay.
do we want to redo that motion? All right. Everybody's good with
Yeah.
first, second, all right, move on. Any other questions for the rec commission report?
Re-vote on that amended motion.
Yeah, take it a second
All
vote.
right. Mr. Shaver, yeah?
Yeah, I still make the motion amended.
Second by Ms. Bressler, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Let's try to be less formal, but yeah. Any other questions on the rec report? All right, seeing none, looking for approval of the rec commission report. Motion made by Mr. Lincoln. Second. Second by Mr. Keg, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Carries. Due to circumstances, obviously a lot of things were canceled last month, so we're all spared from planning commission and EDC.
Excuse me?
I'm listening.
I heard that.
And EAC. So we'll move into traffic and infrastructure. Chris.
Thank you. I will keep this brief for tonight. We already talked about the bulk trash policy, which we spent a lot of time on in our meeting. We're still continuing to work through the sidewalk repair framework. There's a webinar coming up next month that the mayor is going to attend to bring some feedback back to the committee on that. And I think those are the major ones. Happy to answer any questions, otherwise we'll keep plugging along.
Any other questions on the T&I report? Seeing none, looking for approval. So moved. Motion made by Mr. Keg.
Second.
Second by Mrs. Stropnick. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. On to shade tree. Pat.
Well, number one, you should have my report in front of you from our last meeting, which was April 3rd. If you have any questions, feel free. What's that? No, I don't really have anything much to report. It's a pretty boilerplate. We generally talk every month about plantings coming up, trimmings, removals, and watch lists of trees that are looking or deteriorating and trying to seek out things we can do in the meantime to help.
So I do have, there was someone that reached out to me, they sent emails that they reached out at the beginning of the year, on Playground Drive.
Yeah, I have the pictures. I'm gonna contact them.
Okay,
They general plans are taking it down. It's not,
I think she just wants it trimmed.
Yeah.
Because the one branch, it looks like it's
Yeah.
kind of dead, is there a way we can get over there to just trim that down?
yeah, we're going to. I
Okay.
plan to. It was a whole lot going on. We had.
No, you're fine. I
We
just wanted to
we
be
trimmed
clear.
off it. We got 6, spruce trim, Reading Avenue trim. I'll get them, and I'll get them lopped off in the next week or so.
Okay, absolutely, I just wanted to.
They sent me an email today.
Oh, perfect.
And I
Yeah.
said I'd reach out and talk to them all.
Oh, perfect, thank you so much.
One thing I do want to note is that we are working, we took into consideration to potentially plant some memorial trees for the lives lost in the Palmer factory explosion, potentially near the walking bridge. But we're checking out the soil and the safety of that area to see if it can even sustain trees. But we are looking into doing that,
That's
kind of
wonderful.
like a living memorial.
Yeah, that's wonderful, thank you.
I think I had mentioned to Dean about putting something that will blossom. I just saw that the cherry trees, the warmer it gets, the earlier it gets, they were blooming right around this time, so it might actually be really nice to have blooming trees that'll
Yeah,
be right around this time.
that'd be wonderful.
Any other questions on the Shade Tree Commission report? Otherwise, looking for approval. So moved. Motion made by Mr. Lincoln,
Second.
second by Ms. Bressler, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Safety Committee was also canceled. So moving into the treasurer's report. So in front of you, you have the financial statement, 3 months ending March 31st, and also the payment approval reports for March 22nd to April 14th and April 15th to the 18th. So just take a minute, pops out, let us know. Otherwise, I'll be looking for approval.
Casey doesn't get the order, so we can
finish out that giant grant. Yeah.
There are no other questions, looking for a motion.
So moved.
Motion made by Mr. Word,
Second.
second by Mr. Shaver, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. All right, so we'll move into the second round of public comment. Anyone out in the peanut gallery? Or online chat? No online. All right, so if there's no one for public comment, we'll close the floor and we'll look for a motion to adjourn. Motion made by Mr. Lincoln,
Second.
second by Mr. Shaver, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thanks, everyone. Still out before 9.
Thank you.